The hands of man are mirrors of the starry sky. Whoever knows how to read their angles and measures will know the movement of the stars. Hermes Trismegistus. Look at your hands. Really look at them. What do you see? Simple limbs of the human body? Or could it be that in these 5 fingers and the palm that joins them, one of the greatest secrets of the universe is encoded? Welcome to our channel. Today, we will reveal knowledge that has remained in the shadows for millennia, jealously guarded by initiates of the most ancient esoteric traditions, the sacred geometry of the human hands. It is no coincidence that practically all spiritual systems in the world have devoted enormous attention to the hands and their gestures. From Hindu mudras to hand positions in Catholic prayers, from Kabbalistic symbolism to palmistry, hands have always been recognized as something far beyond mere physical appendages. What few understand is that our hands are, literally, microcosms of the entire universe. The divine geometry that structures all creation is perfectly reflected in the architecture of our fingers, palms, and joints. As above, so below. The mathematical proportions that govern entire galaxies are imprinted on your very hands. This knowledge has been intentionally hidden, not out of malice, but out of respect for its transformative power. Hands are dimensional portals, capable of channeling, modulating, and directing cosmic energies in ways that defy modern comprehension. Understanding the true geometry of your hands opens the door to conscious interaction with the forces that shape reality. By the end of this video, you will not only understand why human hands are considered sacred tools in virtually every esoteric tradition, but you will also have access to specific techniques for using them as instruments of personal and spiritual transformation. The fascination with the geometry of the hand dates back to the dawn of human civilization. On the walls of Paleolithic caves in France and Spain dating back more than 30,000 years, we find handprints in precise geometric configurations. These were not mere primitive signatures, as conventional archaeology suggests, but energetic codes deliberately positioned at specific points of power. In the Egyptian Hermetic tradition, the proportions of the hands were considered direct manifestations of divine measure, the same geometric principle that guided the construction of the pyramids. The Papyrus of Thoth, one of the foundational texts of the Hermetic tradition, details how, in the 5 pillars of the human hand lies the secret of the pentagram of the cosmos. Egyptian initiates meticulously studied the relationship between fingers and constellations, noting that the distance between specific joints exactly mirrored the distances between specific stars. In the Hebrew Kabbalah, we find another sophisticated system of understanding the geometry of the hands. Each finger corresponds to one of the 10 Sephiroth, the divine emanations that structure all creation. The thumb represents Kether, the crown, the index finger, Chokmah, wisdom, the middle finger, Bina, understanding, the ring finger, Kesed, mercy, and the little finger, Geburah, power. The palm of the hand corresponds to Tifereth, beauty, the harmonizing center of the entire system. The Kabbalists developed a system of meditation based on the geometric proportions between the fingers. The study of the Yod HaKaful, or doubled hand, revealed that when positioned at certain angles, the fingers created geometric fields capable of tuning into specific frequencies of the spiritual plane. The Greek Pythagorean tradition contributed greatly to this knowledge. Pythagoras observed that the proportions between the phalanges of the fingers followed exactly the mathematical sequence that would later bear his name. The famous golden ratio, phi 1.618, considered the mathematical signature of beauty in the universe, is perfectly expressed in the relationships between the bones of the human hands. The Rosicrucian order, heirs to these ancient traditions, formalized much of this knowledge in their secret treatises in the 16th and 17th centuries. The manuscript Chirothesaurus, the treasury of the hands, preserved in European esoteric libraries, contains detailed diagrams showing how certain hand configurations created invisible geometric fields that directly affected the human energy body. In the East, the Taoist and Buddhist traditions developed equally sophisticated systems. Hindu and Buddhist mudras are not just symbolic gestures, but precise geometric configurations that alter the flow of prana, vital energy, in the subtle body. The Hasta Samudrika Shastra, an ancient Vedic text on the science of the hands, details how each joint and line of the hand corresponds to a specific cosmic principle. This knowledge was transmitted over the centuries, mainly through oral initiations, from master to disciple. During the European Middle Ages, while religious persecution sought to suppress esoteric knowledge, orders such as the Knights Templar preserved these teachings in architectural codes. It is no coincidence that the proportions of the human hand are represented in the dimensions of Gothic cathedrals such as Notre Dame and Chartres. To truly understand the mystical power of hand geometry, we must first recognize the fundamental principle. Hands are not just physical instruments, but complex multidimensional devices that exist simultaneously on multiple planes of reality. To truly understand the mystical power of hand geometry, we must first recognize the fundamental principle. Hands are not just physical instruments, but complex multidimensional devices that exist simultaneously on multiple planes of reality. At the most basic level, the human hand perfectly exemplifies the principle of the golden section. The proportion between the palm and the fingers and between the different phalanges follows exactly the Fibonacci sequence: 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, 13. This same mathematical sequence governs the distribution of petals and flowers, the spiral of galaxies, and countless other natural phenomena. This is no mere coincidence, but evidence that our hands are localized manifestations of universal geometric principles. The Renaissance esotericist Giordano Bruno wrote that, "In the human hands is inscribed the living pentagon, the perfect symbol of the microcosm." He was referring to the fact that, when open, the hand forms a natural pentagram, one of the most powerful geometric figures in the Western tradition. The pentagram is the symbol of the quintessential element, the substance that the ancients believed permeated and transcended the four basic elements. When you understand that your fingers are rays of the cosmic star, then you will know how to direct the light wherever you wish. Rosicrucian manuscript, 17th century. Each finger of the hand corresponds to a specific planetary force, according to multiple esoteric traditions. Thumb, associated with Venus and the earth element, represents will, determination, and self-assertion. Index finger, ruled by Jupiter and the air element, symbolizes authority, direction, and expansion. Middle finger, linked to Saturn and the ether spirit element, represents balance, responsibility, and limits. Ring finger, ruled by the sun and the fire element, symbolizes creativity, expression, and vitality. Little finger, associated with Mercury and the water element, represents communication, intuition, and adaptability. The palm of the hand is considered the unifying field where these five forces meet and balance each other, corresponding to the lunar influence and the receptive capacity of the human being. The main lines of the palm form, in many individuals, an approximately equilateral triangle. This sacred triangle of the palm was considered by medieval alchemists to be the true Athanor, alchemical furnace of the human body, where elemental energies could be transmuted. Esoteric palmistry, much more than simple fortune-telling, was originally a science of understanding these energetic geometries. The joints of the fingers are particularly significant. Each finger has 3 phalanges, with the exception of the thumb, which has 2, corresponding to the 3 fundamental alchemical principles: sulfur action, mercury mediation, and salt solidification. This triple division also reflects the 3 gunas of Hindu philosophy: rajas, dynamism; sattva, harmony; and tamas, inertia. In tantric traditions, the hands are considered direct extensions of the chakras. Specifically, the right hand connects to the heart chakra, Anahata, while the left hand connects to the spleen chakra, subordinate to Manipura. This understanding explains why certain mudras involve interlacing the fingers in specific ways. They create energetic circuits that connect different force centers. The geometry of the hands also operates as a fractal system, where each part contains and reflects the whole. The fingerprint on each finger has spiral patterns that are unique to each human being, but follow universal geometric principles. These patterns are considered, in advanced esoteric traditions, to be energetic signatures that determine how each individual interacts with specific force fields. One of the most profound aspects of the sacred geometry of the hands is their ability to form energetic antennas through specific configurations. When the fingers are positioned at certain angles, they create what the French occultist Pappus called etheric circuits, geometric fields that resonate with specific frequencies of the universal energy continuum. The mathematical understanding of these configurations was expressed in the Pythagorean concept of living geometry, the idea that certain geometric shapes are not just abstractions but active vibrational entities. When we reproduce these geometries with our hands, we establish resonance with their corresponding cosmic principles. The hands are the tools by which the infinite sculpts the finite. Hermetic aphorism. This knowledge integrates seamlessly with other esoteric systems. In astrology, the angular aspects between planets, conjunctions, oppositions, trines, squares, sextiles, find direct correspondence in the angles that can be formed between the fingers. An adept can literally embody a specific astrological aspect through the proper configuration of the hands. In alchemy, the operations of separation, conjunction, dissolution, and coagulation can be facilitated by specific mudras that activate the corresponding principles in the body's internal laboratory. The alchemical great work has always involved both external and internal operations, and the hands are the primary tools for directing and modulating these operations. Now that we understand the theoretical foundations, I will share an initial technique for you to begin exploring the geometric universe of your hands. Remember, what I will reveal today is only the first door to a vast palace of ancient knowledge. The Energy Activation Pentagon. Sit in a comfortable position, with your spine perfectly straight, as if an invisible thread were suspending your body from the top of your head. Join the fingertips of both hands, forming a perfect pentagon between them. Observe carefully how this simple configuration already creates a tangible, geometric field between your hands. Place this pentagon at the height of your heart center, approximately 20 centimeters from your chest. Take 7 deep breaths. With each inhale, visualize golden energy flowing from the farthest reaches of the universe into the center of the pentagon formed by your fingers. With each exhale, feel this energy thickening, becoming almost palpable in the space between your hands. After the 7th full breath, slowly separate your hands as if you were opening a dimensional portal, feeling the accumulated energy gently resisting this movement. Finally, direct this energy with specific and clear intention, moving your hands in a clockwise spiral as if shaping the very substance of space. This seemingly simple technique uses the principle of pentagonal resonance, a vibrational phenomenon that the ancient Pythagoreans understood deeply. The pentagram formed by the position of your fingers creates a geometric field that acts as an amplifier of intention, tuning into frequencies that are normally beyond our everyday perception. Practice this technique daily, preferably at dawn or dusk, when the Earth's energy fields are in natural transition. Over time, you will begin to notice subtle sensations between your hands: warmth, tingling, pulsation, or even a gentle magnetic resistance. These are the first sensible manifestations of the geometric field that you are learning to consciously manipulate. This is just the first technique in a vast system of knowledge. There are dozens of advanced mudras, precise geometric configurations, and energetic circuits that can be activated through the hands. In the upcoming videos on this channel, I will gradually reveal these ancient techniques: the Hermetic Trinity Mudra, the pentagonal light circulation, the modulation of the digital elements, and many others. If you want to access this hidden knowledge that has been preserved for millennia, subscribe to this channel right now. Each video will be a new revelation, a new door to the infinite universe that literally exists in your own hands. This is just the beginning of a journey of self-discovery that will fundamentally transform your understanding of reality and your own potential as a human being. Throughout history, many spiritual masters and initiates have consciously utilized the knowledge of the sacred geometry of the hands. Gautama Buddha is often depicted in different mudras, each corresponding to a specific aspect of the teaching. The Bhumi Sparsha, touching the earth mudra, which he performed at the moment of his enlightenment, geometrically represents the union of heaven and earth through the human body. In early Christian iconographic representations, Jesus Christ is often depicted with his hands in precise geometric configurations. The traditional gesture of blessing, thumb, index, and middle fingers extended, ring and little fingers folded, encodes the divine Trinity and geometrically represents the golden ratio in action. Leonardo da Vinci, an initiate of Renaissance esoteric orders, demonstrated a profound understanding of the sacred geometry of the hands in his works. In the famous Vitruvian Man, the position of the hands is not arbitrary, but follows specific geometric proportions that express the concept of man as the measure of all things. In the 20th century, G.I. Gurdjieff incorporated sacred movements into his system of self-development, many of which involved specific hand configurations. He claimed that certain hand movements, when performed with full awareness, can open up perceptions that remain inaccessible to the intellect. If you want to access this hidden knowledge that has been preserved for millennia, subscribe to this channel right now. Each video will be a new revelation, a new door to the infinite universe that literally exists in your own hands. This is just the beginning of a journey of self-discovery that will fundamentally transform your understanding of reality and your own potential as a human being. The Indian mystic Paramahansa Yogananda documented how great yogis use specific mudras to direct prana to different parts of the body and even influence normally involuntary physiological processes. He describes how his own master, Sri Yukteswar, used hand configurations to aid in the healing of disciples. In the contemporary tradition, we find practices derived from this ancient knowledge in Japanese Jin-Shin Jutsu and reflexology, which recognize the hands as complete maps of the energetic body. These disciplines work on the premise that the fingers and palms contain points that correspond geometrically to organs and systems of the entire body. The hands are the manifestors. What they form in the geometry of space, consciousness forms in the substance of reality. Esoteric aphorism. We have reached the end of this first journey through the mysteries of the sacred geometry of the hands. What I have shared today is just a small fraction of a vast ocean of esoteric knowledge that permeates multiple traditions and spans millennia. Your hands are much more than simple physical tools. They are true multidimensional devices attuned to the very geometric matrix of the universe. Through them, you constantly interact with subtle fields and cosmic energies, even without consciously realizing it. The forbidden geometry of the hands has remained hidden not because it is evil, but because it is profoundly transformative. Like all knowledge of real power, it demands maturity and responsibility. What we have done today is merely a crack open the first portal of many. When you realize that your hands are not your own, but the universe is manifesting through you, then every gesture becomes sacred. I invite you to observe your own hands with new reverence and curiosity in the coming days. Study their proportions, feel their energies, and consciously practice the technique I have shared. Remember, the most powerful geometry is not the one you form externally, but the internal transformation it catalyzes.